Hey y'all. So apparently Tony Blair has been conspiring with Emanuel Macron to kill Brexit. Yeah. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of not so Great Britain, has been caught going to secret meetings with Emmanuel Macron, the President of France, discussing how to overturn Brexit. Shady AF. According to the account of these events, Tony Blair was coaching Macron in how to resist Brexit, essentially telling him if the EU simply stands its ground against the British Parliament, they will eventually cave and agree to what he called a customs union. The London Telegraph and sources in Paris confirm the reality that these meetings are indeed taking place, and therefore Tony Blair is a traitor to his people. American Thinker and Breitbart have a little report of their own, revealing what exactly went down. Blair defends himself by saying that these are just meetings, and his staff have refused to comment, stating that they don't comment on private meetings. Convenient, really. And I mean, if they're just meetings, then why are they private? What are you hiding? Huh? The EU is now voting to extort more money from Britain if it doesn't accept the unacceptable terms they have placed for an exit from the ever-despotic EU. Theresa May continues to propose the same deal time and time again, and the EU continues to reject it again and again. You know, Einstein once said the definition of insanity was trying to do the exact same thing the exact same way and expecting a different result every time. Well, from his point of view, then Theresa May would be completely nuts. And the despots and the despots in the EU obviously aren't going to accept it. They clearly don't want any kind of Brexit whatsoever. Plain and simple. The EU and politicons who are trying to stop Brexit are not listening to the will of the people. They no longer represent their people. I do not recognize the legitimacy of the EU. And as an American, I can't do much. But I can keep reporting global news and keep telling the truth. These people do not represent, these politicians do not represent the people of Europe, who should be regarded like our distant family, because Europe literally created America. They are our family, in essence. And right now, they're suffering under the weight of a despotic, dictatorial power, which is literally the very thing that America ideologically has always been in opposition to. But the truth is, Tony Blair should be formally charged and arrested for conspiracy. All of these globalists see statehood and nationalism as some sort of problem. Some of them because of post-World War II guilt. Others because of a misguided belief in globalism. But of course, the biggest reason of all is PPP. Personal political power. Much like socialism, globalism requires big government in order to work. And you know what big government does? It makes politicians more powerful, which is precisely what they want. Globalism is a disease. Nationalism is the cure. Nationalism did not cause World War II. Economic depression, social anxiety, and issues of excess immigration and overreaction to that excess immigration caused World War II. Yes, the Nazis, that is Germany, did in fact have a Jew problem. Not because they are just simply because they were Jews, but because there were just too damn many of them migrating into the country. They were strangling the welfare of the native people of Germany, much like how Muslims are doing the same now. But they're afraid. They're afraid that any response is going to make them look like the bad guy. It's post-World War II guilt. They think nationalism caused it. It wasn't nationalism that caused it. It was economic depression, desperation, and a severe overreaction to an otherwise real problem. Was it okay for them to murder a bunch of Jews? No, of course not. Would it have been okay for them to deport the Jews? Sure. They had that authority. It was their country. They could do that if they wanted to. But instead they chose the more violent route, which was simply unacceptable. I'm with Denmark and Austria on this kind of issue. I'm with them. And I think America should do the same should we suffer any kind of similar ideas when the Democratic Party decides to get any kind of real authority over the border. And start letting a bunch of South Americans in here. Of course, if someone starts trying to build concentration camps and start executing South Americans, I'm going to say tear it down. Tear down the government. Destroy it if they start doing that. Maybe I'd recruit the Mexicans to help me. Bottom line is, the cure to globalism is nationalism. Globalism is a disease. Plain and simple. Anyway.